Hi, boys and girls. Ms.Lehmann here for the final 2 chapters of Miss Jafee is Daffy. We are on chapter 11. Aurora, rura, mara. Quick! Andrea shouted. Take her legs, Arlo. We picked up the sack with Miss Jafee in it and rushed back through the woods. Help! Miss Jafee shouted. Put me down. Doggone it, I'm your vice principal. No, I said. You're a prisoner of war. And in the words of Abraham Lincoln, nah, 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 boo, boo on you. Arlo, I don't think Abraham Lincoln ever said that, Andrea told me. Well, he should have. Andrea and I finally made it back to our side of the playground. We dumped the sack on the ground in front of Stonewall Jackson. Great work, Stonewall said. Put a gag in her mouth to keep her quiet. I mean, him. Ryan and Michael wrapped a rag around Miss Jafee's mouth and tied it in the back. What do we do now? Asked Neil, the nude kid. Tie her up with this rope, Stonewall Jackson said. Neil tied up Miss Jafee. Everybody started yelling and cheering as word got around that our side had captured General Grant. We won! Kids were shouting. We won the war! We were all yelling and screaming and celebrating when the strangest thing in the history of the world happened. A plane flew overhead. Well, that really wasn't the strange part, because planes fly overhead all the time. The strange part was that something was falling out of the plane. What's that? Emily yelled. It's a parachute, yelled Stonewall Jackson. They didn't have parachutes during the Civil War, Andrea said. They didn't have planes either. It didn't matter what they had during the Civil War because the parachute was coming right down over our heads. It's a man, Ryan shouted. It's a man with no hair, Michael shouted. It's Mr. Klutz, Neil shouted. Hooray for Mr. Klutz! Everybody started shouting. He's back! Everybody was happy to see Mr. Klutz again, but there was just one problem. His parachute was heading straight for the swimming pool at the side of the playground. Splash! It was a real Kodak moment. We saw it live and in person. Everybody ran over to the swimming pool. Help! Mr. Klutz yelled. I can't swim. Glub, 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 glub. Stonewall Jackson jumped into the pool and fished out Mr. Klutz before he drowned. Why didn't you go to the airport? Ryan asked him. Well, Mr. Klutz said, I saw the school out the window of the plane, and since I learned parachuting at principal camp, I thought that jumping out of the plane would be a lot faster than going to the airport. Mr. Klutz is nuts. We missed you so much, said Andrea, the big brown noser. I missed you all too, Mr. Klutz said. Where did this swimming pool come from? Rent a pool, I said. You can rent anything. But why is it in the playground? He asked. I nearly drowned. It was Miss Jafee's idea, Ryan said. She said studies show kids learn better underwater. Where is Miss Jafee? Asked Mr. Klutz. She's, tied up right now, I said. That's when Miss Jafee came hopping out of the woods. She was still tied up in the sack. It was hilarious. What's the meaning of all this, Miss Jafee? Asked Mr. Klutz. Said Miss Jafee. Or at least I think that's what she said. It was hard to tell because she had a gag in her mouth. I thought I told you I wanted everything to be nice and calm while I was away, Mr. Klutz said. It looks like there's a war going on here. Miss Jafee replied. Well, that was pretty much the end of Civil War week. Mr. Klutz helped us untie Miss Jafee and take the gag out of her mouth. Maybe she'll stop trying to teach us her weird ways to learn. Maybe Mr. Klutz will show us how to swim. I mean, learn to swim. Maybe Swami Hava Banana will get a job as a phys ed teacher in India. Maybe Miss Small will get her job back. Maybe Miss Jafee will stop saying weird stuff like, you betcha, and okie dokie. Maybe I'll get to eat more cake, cookies, ice cream, and candy. Maybe we'll be able to talk Mr. Klutz into going to the airport like a normal person instead of jumping out of planes. But it won't be easy. That, boys and girls, is the end. I thought maybe we'd have one more chapter, but that's the end. Mr. Klutz came back. I wonder if Miss Jafee will stick around. This says, if you thought Miss Jafee was weird, wait till you meet Dr. Brad. Dr. Brad has gone mad. Boys and girls, all of us teachers have a bunch of these books. If these interest you and you'd like to borrow some, just let us know. They're super fun. They're easy to read and very entertaining. I hope you loved Miss Jafee as Daffy as much as I did. I wonder if our school's kind of like that too. I don't know. I've never seen Mr. Damrell come to the playground in a parachute.